Well, hello, welcome to the new video. And this week we are testing another competitor of a family SUV that we had the Skoda Kodiaq before. And it's the Peugeot 5008, the new generation of the car. And it's a really good looking car. Let's have a closer look at the car. So we do have LED matrix lights. We have this new signature of the lights. We have 3 close instead of 1 that was here before. But the front mass is pretty much similar to the previous generation of the car, and we have great aerodynamics. And what's actually interesting about the aerodynamic is that we do not need air curtains here on the front, but we have this filled with plastic, and still the car does the drag coefficient of 0.29, which is actually great for this type of car. The best in class is of course the Skoda Kodiaq and Volkswagen Tayron with 0.28, but 0.29 for the Peugeot still really good. What I like about the car is that we have these two logos, these two emblems of Peugeot on the sides, which is sort of like people's Ferrari, let's call it, because not many manufacturers does this. And then in terms of wheels, we are running 19-inch wheels in this case with a tire of 225 55 R19. So actually quite a narrower tire. So you have a lower unsprung mass with it. And in terms of the positive caster at the front suspension, we are running a decent amount of positive caster, as you will hear later on. This car is actually really good in the corners and also in terms of its behavior in the corners. That is thanks to this positive caster geometry. In terms of suspension, we are running McPherson in the front, and surprisingly torsion it should be at the rear. We have a 2.9 meter wheelbase, which is actually really long, and then we have this nice design. Here, this is sort of a matte silver color. And in terms of aerodynamics again, which adds to the 0.29 coefficient, is this rear spoiler, which is sloping down, and also this side spoiler for the side aerodynamics for the crosswind. Then coming to the rear of the car, we have a new signature of the lights. Well, where is the key? Let me show you. So new signature, we have only these three singular diodes in the light. I have to say it looks contemporary, nice, and yeah, really good in this black. Then we have the Peugeot 5008 and hybrid. This is the basic powertrain, the 1.2 liter hybrid. Now let's have a look into the boot, which you open here. You have to sort of search for this button. It's not the easiest, or you can of course open and close it with your foot. Now, so this is 259 liters of capacity. If you had the 6th and 7th seat up, so this is the 7-seat configuration model. In terms of equipment for the 6th and 7th passenger, they only have cup holders. Some of its competitors, they have the separate air conditioning there, and also the connectivity for the 6th and 7th passenger. Yeah, but with the seats in, with the seats in, you actually get a very decent amount of space here in the rear. It's a very good boot. It's really practical. You also have this underfloor storage here, which is really nice and practical. Strong LED light. Not enough hooks, but I guess it's okay because it's a 7-seat variant, and we can close this boot maybe. Yeah, like this. That works. That works actually quite well all the time with the Peugeot cars. And now let's have a look into the rear, but before that, I forgot to talk about the geometry. So we are running more negative camber here at the rear axle with a slight toe in for improved rotation mid corner, which is nice. All right, and let's come here to the rear of the car. So you have this blind for the window, which is actually quite nice. Of course, you have to have that in a family car. A door bin, which could be wider for a bigger bottle, but it's okay. And then in terms of comfort in the rear, so you can slide this bench, which is really nice, and then you can also recline the seating position. It's not that big amount of angle of recline like you get in the Kia cars or Hyundai cars, so those are slightly more comfier in terms of recline, but it's nice that you get that here. In terms of comfort, well, you get the separate air conditioning unit here, which is great. You still get the armrest with cup holders, which is all right, and another additional storage area, and also 2 USB-C connectors, as well as a 12-volt socket in the middle. So yeah, decent practicality in the rear, and again, like all of these family SUVs, really wide opening for putting the child seat in place. So that's pretty cool. And last thing, let's have a look at the engine. But before that, let me show you the new interior, which is again incredibly beautiful, like always with Peugeot. And one other thing, this new Peugeot, you open the bonnet just like in the BMW. So you have to pull this lever twice to open the bonnet. And it is actually exactly like BMW, because now that I come up to the bonnet, I just put it up, and that's it. The only difference is that this has the manual lifter, while the BMW would have the hydraulic lifters for the bonnet. And here is the powertrain, so 1.2 liter hybrid. So we have a inline 3-cylinder turbo 1.2 with a 21 horsepower and 50 newton meters from the electric motor, which is integrated in the transmission, which is the EDSC 6-speed transmission. And I have to say, this powertrain actually works surprisingly well in such a big car, as you will hear later. It has the similar dynamics to the 1.5 liter diesel in the previous generation model, and yeah, I mean it's decent overall. I quite like it from terms of usability and also from point of efficiency. The powertrain together gives you 136 horsepower and 230 newton meters torque, and the acceleration to 100 kilometers in around 10.5 seconds, I think. So yeah, these are the numbers. The car weighs at somewhere over 1850 kilos, and you only get the front wheel drive, no four-wheel drive. I'm not sure now that if you get four-wheel drive with the plug-in hybrid, but with this powertrain, definitely only a front wheel drive. Yeah, so that's about it to the walk around of the new Peugeot 5008. Now let's hop in the car, hide from the rain, let's drive it, and let's talk about the experience with this car, because it's actually been a really good one. Oh, well, as the week is coming close to its end, I think it's time to sum up the new Peugeot 5008 hybrid with a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder turbo hybrid with electric motor. Let me start up the car. So the startup procedure, you press it once, you press it second time. That is the correct one. To wait for all of the electronics. All right, so let me talk you first through the new interior, which looks, again, Peugeot, absolutely amazing. I mean, I'm staggered. This is top premium level of design of the interior. I absolutely adore it, absolutely amazing. So we have this very nice sort of texture in the door cards, which goes through the dashboard. It has ambient lighting in it. In the night it looks absolutely fabulous. Then you have these air vents, well, one air vent on the top of it, and it looks like it's floating. Also, this curved screen ahead of me, it looks like it's floating. Yeah, and it's not even doing any noises, any plastic noises, which is absolutely amazing. The resolution is amazing. The only maybe negative thing that I have to this is that it's all black, and sometimes I'm just losing in all of the information because of that. But in terms of design, absolutely amazing. Then we have this central panel with these typical eye toggles, which are actually really nice. They are really nice shortcut buttons, so they take you very quickly to the air conditioning or whatever you put in there, the media, the navigation, and then you move it. You can very quickly heat up the seats, turn off the start and stop system, which is very nice, heat the steering wheel. It's just lovely to use. On top of that, you have air ventilation, air vents, and then you have the gearbox selector here, on which I really do like that we have the manual mode for gearbox. So let me just put it, you put it in the manual mode, and the car doesn't change gears itself, it waits for you. So that's pretty nice. Then the central panel, you have a cave here for wireless charging with ambient lighting as well. You have, through all of the interior, you have this nice textile trim, which is absolutely adorable. You also have it here on this two-piece armrest, which has very good amount of space, deep amount of space. It is also air conditioned, this armrest. Absolutely lovely again. Two cup holders, massive storage area here in the central panel, absolutely massive. You can get loads of things in there, and you also get two USB-C connectors there. One is dedicated for charging, the other is dedicated for the multimedia, even though you don't need it because you have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in this car. And then you have this sort of L or the hockey stick type of design for these buttons. So here, what is very practical is that you can adjust the volume or turn off the multimedia here with this rotating knob, which is absolutely lovely in my opinion. I really do like that. Then you have the drive mode selector, you have the warning light button, the electronic parking handbrake, and the drive mode. Well, let me tell you, you have three modes. You have eco, normal and sport. And because this car only has 136 horsepower in total, which is the same as you had in a diesel, I drive all the time in the sports mode, okay? And then you have some another shortcut buttons for the air conditioning to blow the air on the windshield, to heat up the rear windshield, the inner air circulation and stuff like this. But also you do not only have the ventilation on the front windshield, but you also have a heated front windshield, and you also open the boot from here if you double press that. We also have the new steering wheel, really lovely, still a small steering wheel, slightly larger cutouts, slightly larger these places for the buttons on the steering wheel. The good thing is they are not touch capacitive, they are still proper buttons, really lovely. Yeah, it's as lovely, the steering wheel, as it was before, just a different design, a new sort of design. We also have a newer seat with embedded logos in the headrest, absolutely amazing. They are the Alcantara / leather, really nice to sit in them. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, well, I think that would be about it. Let's start driving and let me tell you the experience with this car. So the first thing that everybody's gonna be afraid of is this 1.2 liter. We only have a 3-cylinder engine, turbocharged engine in this car. So how is it? Is it not sufficient for this car? Because this car weighs, I think, 1700 and it was 1780 kilos, something like that. I'm gonna put it here. So is it sufficient? It can't be sufficient, can it? Well, I have to tell you, unless you're looking for a dynamic driving, this engine really is sufficient. And that is because you have this help from the electric motor, which has 21 horsepower and 50 Newton meters. And it helps the car all the time when it's accelerating. So actually, you know, it's really no problem. You can accelerate quite easily. You never have a problem when joining the motorway or anything. And look, we're going into the corner, leaning onto the outer wheel. This is another thing we're going to talk about. Massive leaning onto the outer wheel, as it should. So the engine, in my experience, is sufficient. The only times when you have to count a little bit with something is when you're overtaking, because when you rev it up, it's not the engine that is sort of growing in the power, so it doesn't have the widest torque band, right? We have 136 horsepower, 230 Newton meters of torque, 6-speed DCT transmission, it's EDSC transmission. Yeah, but I have to say, really sufficient. On the motorway at 130 kilometers, it has 2,800 RPM, so really not bad again for a 6-speed transmission. So in my experience, overall, I was actually surprised in a good manner from this engine, right? Yeah, I actually quite liked it. And you can also drive on the motorway without any problem at 150, 160 kilometers per hour, and you don't feel that the car is sort of doing it from the last breath. So yeah, that's actually quite good. And if I had to compare it, I would actually compare it to the 1.5 liter HDI diesel that I drove in the previous generation. Also with the behavior of the torque band of the engine, it's very similar to that, but you have this low down torque characteristic just as in the diesel, and over here it is thanks to the electric engine support that helps the engine and adds power to the car. So actually it feels really nice. Now to the driving characteristic of the car. Again, very nice. Peugeots, they are always combining a great amount of comfort with great amount of feedback. and also it is in here, so we probably have softer damping and stiffer springs, but the result is really nice. We have good amount of feedback through the steering wheel, and it's also quite nice and reactive. It is not too fast, it has just a good steering ratio to it, and also a good amount of information through the seat. And also we are sitting here in a typical SUV, so we have quite a high driving position. Even despite the seat being in its lowest position, I feel quite comfortable. I feel quite comfortable actually in here behind the steering wheel, and I don't feel to be sitting high above the dashboard because of the screen is straight in front of my eyes almost. So actually a good seating position again, and I feel cocooned here in this interior. It is sort of floating around you, which is actually quite nice. I was driving the car also dynamically on the mountain pass, and well, because of the setup of the suspension, it's really nice. We are running a very decent amount of positive caster geometry at the front suspension, which is crucial for the car behavior. The car looks from the side that it has a little bit of a rake, but yeah, but this sort of caster behavior gives it, this sort of positive caster gives it the behavior that it really leans. You can really feel it. It leans onto the outer rear wheel as it should. So that's good. And then the geometry, we are running decent amount of negative cambers at both axles, but more negative camber we are running at the rear with a very slight toe in to give you that bit of rotation, because the conception or the weight distribution is of course front bias, and also me as a driver, I'm not sitting quite as close as I would critique, but I'm sitting closer than in a driver's car, let's say some sort of Mazda or something of that driver's sense, okay? But it's a family car, so it's absolutely okay. I can't critique that, okay? And I'm absolutely very okay with that. Yeah, then other things, let me talk you through the quietness. I measured at strangely 70 decibels, 69, 70 decibels on the motorway, and strangely, it is strange because subjectively the sound isolation is absolutely perfect. I can whisper in the car. If I put on the stereo, you have fantastic speakers. I don't know what they did, but the speakers and the music experience is absolutely amazing when you're using them. So yeah, it's quite strange that it's quite strange to me that I measured at 70 decibels. I would subjectively say around 55, 56 decibels really on the motorway at 130. Yeah, so that's how it is. Now, let's come to the consumption numbers. So you would think 1.2 liter 3-cylinder is gonna have a lot of work with this car, and therefore the consumption is gonna be big. Well, we are wrong, because over the whole week I am averaging at only 6.6 liters per 100 kilometers, and that includes sporty driving on the mountain pass, motorways at 130, 140 kilometers per hour. And still colder weather and all-season tires. So yeah, this is really nice. And then if you want to talk about specific journeys, you can drive around these 6.2 liters, even 5.5 liters, some of them 5.6, so in between 5.5 to 6.2, 6.3 liters. And again, this efficiency is very similar to what I've been getting in the previous generation of the diesel car. So actually, if you buy this car, you get the diesel consumption with it and the diesel range. We have a 55 liter fuel tank, so this range should be somewhere over 830-ish kilometers, which is really nice from the fuel tank that you get. So I'm very pleased with the efficiency of this powertrain, and it is really not, as some of my colleagues said, that it's not sufficient. I feel actually it's very sufficient. It's very similar to the diesel powertrain in the last generation. And also what helps to the good fuel consumptions is the drag coefficient, which even despite this car being quite long and quite big and boxy, it's still only 0.29, which is actually really nice number considering. It's not as good as the top in the class, the Volkswagen Tyrone and the Skoda Kodiaq, which have 0.28, but 0.29, it's very close to them. So really nice in this aspect, really great work from Peugeot. Yeah, so let me just sum up the car for you. So the first thing I want to tell you, do not be afraid of this powertrain. I know it's a 3-cylinder, but really you rarely feel its vibrations,
in terms of dynamics, it is very similar to the diesel powertrain you get in the last generation, and it is also like that in the fuel consumptions of the car. So actually really okay, really nice to use, and don't be afraid of it. You have a really only a small battery. The car behaves like a normal hybrid, so yeah, it's really nice. Then what is also nice is the driving characteristic. It's a well balanced chassis. It drives predictably through the corners. Even if you drive sporty, you can be okay with it. It has good amount of grip, really good amount of precise steering it gives you, so you know what the car is doing when you're losing the grip. Yeah, so I do quite like that. Well, then the last thing is the design, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, it's probably the best looking car in its class, and I just absolutely like the design. The negatives, you do not get the four-wheel drive, although you do get some of these, what it's called in the Peugeot, the front-wheel drive that tries to go into the off-road. I forgot the terrain response or something like that, the grip control maybe. You do get that here. I will put the video, we will try that out. So you do get that, and well, I think that would be the only negative I have, or anyone could have actually with this car, because I actually like this car. Let me tell you, I really like this car. It's really good. And in terms of price, I have a paper here with this car as it's equipped. It's the GT model, and it costs 39,940 euros. And in terms of pricing and this category of the vehicles, it's a good price actually for the quality that you're getting. All of the interior materials here are nice, nothing squeaks. You have a really nice and quiet driving experience. It's all comfortable, it's easy to use. You feel sort of premium in this car. I think it's a nice price, because some of its competitors can cost in its top equipment much more, up to 60,000 euros. So yeah, really good price. So it's up to you to consider whether you really need four-wheel drive, which some of its competitors do offer. From my point of view, I really do not need it, because if you have good tires, you can live with this. You can live with two-wheel drive, and you have this grip control system, which will help you gain traction on snow and mud or something like that. Yeah, so overall, the new Peugeot 5008 Hybrid, really nice car, really good looking car, efficient. In terms of power, you get the same power as you had in the diesel in the last generation, and also the range is very similar to the diesel. So if you're considering this car, really go try it out, and if you like it, I think you like it, buy it. It is really good, and it's worth it. Yeah, it's really worth it. So that would be about it to this video. Well, if you found it useful and liked it, well, keep watching, keep subscribing, because more videos are coming on very soon, and I hope to see you in the very next video. In the meantime, take care of you, and goodbye.